13 million gallons of toxic herbicides sprayed over Vietnam. This is the story of Agent Orange. Agent Orange was a herbicide used during the Vietnam War that lasted from 1955 to 1975. However, the herbicide was only used from 1961 till 1971. Wait, hold up. What even is Agent Orange? Agent Orange is a herbicide that was mass produced during the Vietnam War and used in Vietnam. It was mainly used to destroy plants which the North Vietnamese troops used as cover. And that was its starting purpose. However, later on it turned out that during the creation of herbicides, and more specifically Agent Orange, a toxic byproduct was created called dioxin. Now, dioxin is extremely toxic. Agent Orange was sprayed out by manual machines from boats, and in enemy territory it was dumped from planes. Now, a quick side note, in Vietnam, Agent Orange was not the only herbicide used. There were a bunch of different ones, including Agent Pink, Blue, White, Purple, Green, and even variations of Agent Orange itself, as in Agent Orange 1, 2, 3, and Super Orange. And the difference between all of these is largely how potent they are. But by far, Agent Orange was the most popular one, with approximately 13 million gallons of it sprayed across Vietnam. That sums up as 2/3 of all herbicides used in Vietnam. Now getting into why is Agent Orange this bad? It's because of dioxin. Dioxin was created as a byproduct during the making of herbicides. Why is this important? Well, let's check out what is dioxin. Dioxin is an extremely toxic substance. It causes a bunch of problems, including reproductive and developmental problems, damaging the immune system, it creates birth defects, and it is a cause for cancer. And on top of all of this, dioxin also stays in the soil and water for long periods of time, and it stores up in the fatty tissues of animals like birds and fish. And when it gets into a human body, its half-life is anywhere from 7 to 11 years. Now, how did this all even play out? Well, the herbicides that were used in Vietnam were created in America and then transported to Vietnam. They were created in America by multiple chemical companies, and since these were the 60s and 70s, no one really cared about safety. This can be seen by some of the advertisements the companies created. For example, the chemical manufacturer Monsanto Company agreed to change their advertisement of their herbicide, which was that it was safer than table salt, only after they were threatened by a lawsuit. So, herbicide safer than table salt. I would say it's pretty fair to say that at the start of herbicide usage in Vietnam, they did not know about dioxin. However, slowly throughout the years, it became known, and even though it was known, it was still used. This can be seen when in 1963, President Johnson's Science Advisory Committee were worried about the long-term health effects of herbicides, so they nudged National Cancer Institute to create a study on herbicides, and they found that dioxin creates birth defects in mice. Furthermore, in 1971, the Dow Chemical Company in court said that in 1969, both the government and the Dow Company knew about the risk that dioxin created birth defects in mice. And all of this rounded up into a giant lawsuit, when in 1979 a class action lawsuit was filed on the behalf of 2.4 million veterans. And after 5 years, 7 of the largest companies who created these herbicides agreed to pay $180 million as compensation. But however, before the lawsuit ended, the amount had grown to $240 million. Approximately another 300 veterans started their own lawsuits, and some of these lawsuits lasted until the 21st century. And the previously mentioned Dow Company, who in court said that both they and the government knew about the dangers of dioxin, said that in court because according to the government contractor defense, if they were to prove that the government knew about the dangers and still ordered herbicides, then the government is to blame, not them. And as an ending to all of this, in 1991, President George Bush put into law the Agent Orange Act that demanded that the treatment of herbicide-induced sicknesses would be paid by the government.